got a minute? Howdy, fam. Welcome back to Feral. I'm your host, Savana, Montana, and I'm back in the den with you today. I just got back from Montana a couple days ago. It was a lot. It was a freaking lot, but I'm happy to be here. And I'm really looking forward to this episode because today we're going to be talking about the things that I've learned by being the feral one in the group. What it's like being the wild card, why I'm the wild card, if you're the wild card in your group of your friends or your life. And I think this is going to be a really fun topic to talk about. Maybe it'll be a little emotional. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. So let's tear it up. Are you the feral one in your friend group? I definitely am. I am the feral wild card problem child in any group chat that I'm added to. I could be better at it, actually, because I'm not great with responding to text messages or DMs or messages in general. But when I do, it's usually the Hot Mess Express coming through. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you're that person in your friend group. Maybe you're not. Maybe you have a friend like this in your friend group. Let's figure out why these people are. Why are we these people? How did we get so fucking feral? Being feral is not a phase in my life. It's somebody that I've always been. And if you're feral, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's why I always say feral is not a phase. It's a frequency. It's an energy. It's a way of life. This is how we live. This is how we operate with everything that we do, everything we see, everything we touch, every experience. This is just who the fuck we are. So why are we this way? What does it really mean to be feral, to be the wild card? When you're feral, or you're the wild one, or you're the crazy bitch in the group, you're usually the person who's saying what everybody else is thinking. Sometimes this gets you in trouble. Ask me how I know. Guilty. I have a problem with saying what everybody else is thinking, but I also have a huge sense of humor, so I usually put some sort of funny spin on it or throw some sarcasm in there, and it gets a laugh, which makes me feel great because I just love to laugh and I love to joke with things. But people are afraid to say the truth. People are not a lot of times ready or willing to talk about the things that are uncomfortable or the reality of the situation. And when you're feral or when you're loud or when you're authentic or just that person in your friend group, it's kind of your responsibility to do it because sometimes it just needs to be said. It needs to be brought up. Everybody at that table or everybody in that group chat or everybody on that call wants somebody to say it because we're all thinking it, but who the fuck's going to mention it? Who's going to say it out loud? Why not be that person? If you're the feral one in the group, you are this person. Sometimes you get shot down and people are like, this is all your fault. You started this mess. Okay, well, don't shoot the messenger. Everybody agrees though, no? You know, it's not always the most comfortable thing, but it is not always the worst thing to do. Sometimes it just needs to be said, you know? Say what you got to say what everybody else is thinking. No matter what the outcome may be, it just needs to be said. And if it starts a fucking fire, then I guess we'll put it out together. We'll all be firefighters that day. Or maybe the feral one will just be the firefighter all on her own or his own. Maybe you're the one in the group who sends the wild voice notes or the 15-minute long voice notes. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if you can send a 15-minute long voice note, but you know who you are. We know who we are. Actually, I'm pretty good at not sending voice notes. I should send them more because I don't like rage texting, but I will do it. So maybe I should switch to voice notes. What do you guys think? Maybe this is a good idea. Maybe this is on trend. Anyways, if that's the person that you are, you might be the feral one in the group. If you just have a lot of shit to say and you're like, I can't sit down and text this right now. I just need to get it off my chest. Welcome to the feral species that is us, okay? If you're the type of person who likes to push people to their limit in a positive way, not in a negative way, sometimes it might be negative, but mostly level people up, push them to their brink, make sure that they are doing better. When they come to you, you're positive, you're influential, you're motivational, you're feral. You're the one who wants to see them do well. If they're in a toxic relationship, you're like, dude, leave that fucking guy. He sucks. You're so much better than that. That's a good thing. There's a lot of good ways to be loud and be unapologetic and be the wild one in your friendships, in your relationships, in your family ships, whatever they may be. That's a sign that you are that person. And I encourage you to continue doing those things, because a lot of people don't realize how much they need somebody to inspire them or motivate them or help them out of a shit situation. If you have the balls to say it and stick up for somebody and insert yourself when they're asking for your help or you know that they need it, sometimes they might push you away. There might be backlash in that. Sometimes you just don't know. But more times than often, people will reach out to you or bring you into a situation because they actually want your help, because they know that you're crazy enough to actually say what they can't say or do what they can't do or be brave on their behalf. That's wild card behavior. That's feral. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So if you've caught yourself doing that or ever been in a situation where someone has needed your help in that area of life, good for you. You're a badass motherfucker. I'm here to tell you, and keep up the good work. And if you're anything like me, you're doing one of two things. You're either hyping someone up or you're roasting your friends in a good way. Some friends can't take it. Since moving from Montana to Florida, I realize people are a lot softer here. No offense to my Florida friends, but Montanans have much thicker skin. And I grew up being roasted, so I learned from the best. It's not a bad thing. No one's being mean to you. Sometimes it's just fun to make fun of yourself. And nobody makes more fun of themselves than me. So if you have mastered the art of making fun of yourself or laughing at yourself or just being a silly fucking goofball, you definitely are a wild card, and you're definitely on the spectrum of the feral that we are on this show. So thank you for being you, because that is definitely the kinds of things that we cherish and the kinds of behaviors that we reward, especially hyping people up. I mean, shit, what's better than making somebody else feel good about themselves? Doesn't matter if they're in a shit situation or in the best situation of their life. Egg them on, push them up, level them up, give them compliments, get excited for them. I think today we have so many people who have to focus on themselves or just don't know how to be happy for someone else genuinely, so they just don't say anything at all. Feral, wild card, crazy, loud livers don't do that. We're genuinely excited for you. We actually want to see you do well. You're not taking from us by having more than we might have in that moment. We're just excited for you. It's fun to hype people up. It's exciting to get excited for someone else. Why wouldn't you want to see the people that you love do their best and excel in life and succeed? Friends, family, relationships, all of that included. So if that is you, this episode is for you. Being this person in your friend group or in any group, any relationships that you have, can be extremely powerful, and it can be extremely misunderstood. It can be powerful in the senses that you do uplift people and you do hype others up and you do make people feel good about themselves, and you create a comfortable setting for people to be honest about who they are or tell the truth or call shit out when they're not normally that person. So there's a lot of powerful ways to utilize being the person who lives loudly or being the most authentic, feral version of yourself. On the flip side of that, it's very misunderstanding for some people because you get a lot of judgment for it. Some people think, well, she's too loud, or he's too much, or they always have something to say. Okay, that might be true in your vision of things and your perspective, but that might not be the reality of the situation, because typically when you're calling things out or you're being honest in a situation or you're just being yourself, it makes other people feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it encourages people to also be themselves and speak up and show their authenticity. And other times it makes people go into a shell, hermit, judge, point fingers, talk down to you, make you feel uncomfortable, which is super shitty. And if you have anybody in your life that's like that, you know what I'm going to tell you. Cut them out. Cut those people out. It's not necessary. You're not here to change them. They're going to see it on their own, and hopefully you can inspire them to be a better version of themselves. But it can be very misunderstanding, and it's difficult when you're learning to absorb more space and take up more room in your own life, because you're taking up more space in all areas of your life, in all the relationships, in all of the rooms. Not everybody's going to be accepting of that. That's okay. Not everyone has to accept that. But you still have to stay true to you and know that sometimes it's not ideal. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes I'm misunderstood for being who I am. But there's a reason that you are this way. So don't hide your shine. Don't shrivel up. Don't be a hermit. Don't keep yourself from the world, because there's people who need you. They need you to be feral. They need you to be the wild card. They need you to be the loudmouth. They need you to put your foot in your mouth sometimes, because they're not willing to do it themselves. And there's a lot of great things that come on the other end of that. Sure, backlash, yes, but there's also good. You got to take the good with the bad. It's not going to be perfect all the time, but don't stop being that version of you to make anybody else feel safe or be comfortable or not judge you. Fucking people will do that anyway. They're going to do it anyway. So if they're going to talk shit, you might as well give them a reason, if you ask me. So I've learned so many lessons from being the wild card in my life and the feral freak in my family. I have learned many, 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 many things. And I've learned a lot about myself. Honestly, there's so many lessons. Sometimes you have to, watch what you do or be careful on how you are around people. And I know that I talk against that a lot of the time, because in most settings, I just think it's bullshit. But you don't want to offend someone or hurt them either. You know what I mean? You have to be mindful of that. You might be a little bit further along than people emotionally, mentally, spiritually, any way that you follow in your life. And it might just not make sense to people. And we're not here to hurt your feelings by being ourselves or making you uncomfortable. There's a lot of lessons to be learned when you are the wild card, because you're loud and you might be too much for some people, and you might be too crazy, and you might say this or that or the next thing. But learning your way of life and your flow on how to work with the person that you are is a beautiful thing. And there's a lot of ways to do it. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, and one of the most humbling lessons I've learned on being a feral person, is I have created a space for people to be real, not just with themselves, but with me as well. More importantly, themselves. I don't know why I'm getting emotional talking about this. It's a gift, really. I have been gifted the ability to allow people to be honest with themselves in front of me, because I know and I believe that I am a safe place for them to keep their secrets and talk about themselves and boast about themselves and cry if they want to cry and be vulnerable if they want to be vulnerable. It was a lesson that I learned at a really young age. And I think it's because I grew up kind of all over the place and in different areas around different people. And I spent a lot of times around adults. So I was always listening, and I was taking in a lot of this information and just watching how people behave, how they react, how they respond. And I really am infatuated with human behavior and communication. So the fact that I have used my feral skill and my wild card skill and my loud living life to actually be silent in some moments and create a space for people to be themselves and give their authenticity and know that they actually have a friend or a listening ear or an acquaintance or a confidant to just be themselves is one of the most incredible gifts I have ever been given in my entire life. And it is such a huge reason why I'm here, why I have this show, why I put myself out on social media, why I am the person that I am in my family, in my friend groups, in my relationship. So that's a lesson that I luckily learned pretty early on. And as I have evolved into the human that I am today, I understand it more and more so than I did when I was young. And I'll only grow to understand why I've been given this gift as I proceed and as I continue. So if you're a person who maybe gets told, I don't know why I'm telling you this. Oh my gosh, I've never said that before. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I don't know why I'm telling you so much information. I don't know why I'm being so vulnerable. It's so easy to talk to you. Like these kinds of things, if you hear other people telling you those things or indulging in conversation with you or being vulnerable or sharing their deepest, darkest secrets, that's a good sign. You're a good soul. You're feral and you're a wild card, but you also know how to hone and hold this kind of authenticity for other people to feel safe around you and share their humanity with you, their realness. So that's a really big lesson to learn. And if you haven't realized that you're doing that for people, maybe this episode will explain to you that you are so much stronger and so much more authentic of a human being for being able to do that. Because you have to be really in touch with yourself to do that before you can do that for someone else, which we'll get into that too. Another huge lesson that I've learned being this person is you're not going to be everybody's favorite. You can't be everybody's favorite and still hold your integrity. Why? Because not everybody's values are going to be the same as yours. When you have integrity, you're very definitive on what your morals are, where your moral compass is, what you're okay with, who you are as a person. And that doesn't waver for anyone. So if you have strong integrity and you know who the fuck you are, when someone comes along and says, well, I don't like you, well, you did this, or you look that way, or blah, 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 whatever, you don't change. You say respectfully, fuck off. You can fuck right off. No one asked you. I mean, you don't have to say that, but you just remain being yourself. You stick to your moral compass. You stick to your moral standing. You know who you are. You know what matters to you. And you also abide by those rules for yourself. You hold those boundaries with you. Just because somebody else did something shitty and shady and got away with it doesn't mean you're okay with it. You probably wouldn't be their friend anymore because you're holding your boundary. I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't spend my time with somebody who would do something like that, right? So in that text, people aren't always going to like you for that. People don't have enough integrity of their own. So when they look at someone who does have integrity and is feral and does stand up for what they believe in and has no problem saying it to someone's fucking face, that's intimidating. And then they're going to try to tear you down because they don't know what else to do. They could learn a lot from you, but they're not always going to. So you can't always be liked and hold your integrity at the same time. But the purpose of that lesson is knowing you still have to hold your integrity. Don't change. You were gifted your craziness for a reason. So you have to use it and you have to follow your own rules, and don't let anybody impact your integrity or question your integrity or make you feel lesser than, because not everybody's going to like you. And that's super okay. I've also learned that I have the ability to hold a lot more emotional bandwidth than I have ever realized I could. And anyone who understands what I'm saying in this moment, you're probably doing the same thing. I find myself around a lot of people who don't have high EQ. A lot of people who have high IQ, EQ, totally different ballpark. So I think that it's probably something that I attract because they need that from me. It's something that people need. Maybe sometimes it's something that people want. Maybe it's just the universe saying, here's another challenge. Have a good time on that rodeo, sister. I don't know. But I do have the mental and emotional capacity to hold people's emotions at a very high scale. So, and I think a lot of people who can be honest with themselves and are true to themselves and can be authentic and can speak their truth and speak their mind and sleep at night also have the ability to do this. Some people may be feral and also be extremely empathetic. If you're an empath, you know you're an empath. If you're listening to this episode, if you're still in this episode, you must be an empath because you're like, holy shit, I'm learning so much about myself. Let's keep going. You don't have to be an empath to be feral either. But if you're very empathetic, if you understand emotions on a deeper level, like for instance, I can watch two people communicate and I know the why behind what they're saying opposed to what they're actually saying. Like they're saying this, but they actually feel this way, or they're saying this because this happened, or this is an emotional trigger or a trauma or whatever. It's crazy to watch people communicate because there's so many hidden secrets within what people are saying. And it's always just, not always, but a lot of times it's to protect themselves. So when you can hold a lot of people's emotions within you, it's because you can dissect them, you can process them. You have like this barrier to not let it affect you because you know that it's got nothing to do with you, but you can understand it on a human level and not let it impact you in a negative way. So even just in my relationship, for instance, my fiance is extremely intelligent, extremely high IQ. This guy is a fucking brain. He's so smart. He is so far surpassed so many things that I can even wrap my brain around half the time. I'm like, holy shit, I don't even know what's happening right now, but great. EQ level, he's a mess and I love him. He's not actually a mess, but he comes to me and he shares all this information. And even when I think that I'm overloaded, it doesn't affect me that much because as I process it, it creates more bandwidth in my emotional, we should give this a name. What could we name this? My emotional vault. It's like as I process the emotions for other people or myself, it just shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and just creates more space. So as long as those emotions are going into my vault and I'm processing them, it's creating more space for me. But if I don't process those emotions for myself or for other people, then my vault could explode. I hope that helps you guys understand what the hell I'm trying to say. So anyways, a lesson in living loud and being feral and being authentic is having more emotional space than you realize that you have. You have a lot more emotional space than you even know. And once you figure that out, and maybe this episode will help you understand, holy shit, she's right. I do have way more emotional space than I could have ever thought. It'll help you organize it and process it so you can keep it that way and not burn out. Because we do get burnt out and we will light that page on fire here shortly. Living loudly has also taught me a lesson of knowing that people don't always want to see you evolve and grow. Sometimes they just keep you around because you're performing for them. And when you understand that that's all that people wanted is one thing from you or a few things from you, or they were only around because you were entertaining to them or you were fun, but when you actually needed that person or you want to deepen your friendship or your relationship with this person, and they are nowhere to be found, you're like, holy shit, they just like to hang out with me because I was a good time, or I just entertained them, or I just supported everything that they wanted support for. And then when I needed something, they had zero interest in helping me out or listening to me talk. Also, on the flip side of that, a lot of feral people who do live loudly and authentically as crazy ass wild cards, we sometimes don't feel comfortable being that person to other people in the sense of being vulnerable and giving all of this information and talking about ourselves and being, I don't know, vulnerable is the best word that I can think of it, because when you are getting all this information and you're supporting other people like that, you know how easily you could share that information with someone and it could ruin someone's life, or it could really hurt that person or impact them in such a negative way. And so when you're used to receiving that, and just in my experience, you find a way to be less vulnerable because you're like, well, I don't know if I trust people to hold that kind of information for me. And that's not a bad thing. It's actually good to be smart and know when people share these kinds of tools with you, or this kind of intellect or these skills as a human being. Because a lot of people don't. A lot of people are just feral and loud and crazy and wild cards because that's just who they are. They like to be that person, but that doesn't mean that they share all the same qualities as you. So you have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. You know what I'm saying? But yes, not everybody's going to want to see you grow. Not everybody's going to want to see you evolve when you're stronger, when you're louder, when you're outspoken, when you have shit to say, when you stand up for what you believe in, when you know who the fuck you are. It can be intimidating to people, and sometimes people will just leave your life. Or worse, they'll try to tear you down and make those qualities that you possess shrink. And you got to get that kind of person away from you, and they can't stay in your life. So knowing how to do that and just to keep evolving and keep doing what you're doing, even if it rubs people the wrong way or if they can't accept you for that, that's okay. It's a hard lesson to learn, but it is a necessary one. On a positive note, another lesson, I'll give you, this will be the last lesson, okay, that I've learned. There's so many. I've learned that your boldness oftentimes gives other people an opportunity to stop pretending. When they see that you don't pretend who you are and you don't mask shit and you don't have to cover shit up and you just say it how it is and you know who you are and you love who you are and you share that person with the world all the time, maybe not all the time, but most of the time, it's inspiring. It helps other people be more like you. You'd be shocked at how many people want to be more that way that just don't feel comfortable doing it because they don't feel that they're in a space where they can, when they're around people that maybe make them feel like it's not a safe place. They can't be themselves. You inspire so many people by being bold. So it's my advice that you should just always be bold. Just even in the moments when it's scary, those seem to be the biggest moments when you need to be bold, when you need to be loud, when you need to be feral and outspoken and crazy as hell. When it scares the shit out of you, definitely do it. It's usually worth it in the end. But by showing that and presenting that to the world and allowing yourself to be that way fully as much as you possibly can inspires other people to do the same. Because so many people are out there pretending, and so many of the pretenders don't actually want to be pretending. Sometimes they have just over time learned to hate themselves because they're doing everything for the wrong reason, or the approval of someone else, or for likes on social media, or for attention from a guy or a girl or family members to praise them or whatever. I mean, there's so many reasons why people do the stupid shit that they do, but people don't always want to pretend. So the fact that you don't have to pretend and you can be your full self all the time is the gateway to inspiring and motivating other people to get out of their own way, stop pretending, and just be fucking real. And that's a lot of lessons, but they're all good ones and they've all impacted me. So I'm sharing them with you so maybe you can understand that you may have learned some of these lessons already yourself. So let's talk about the burnout. The burnout of always being on, of always having to present this version of yourself. I brought it up a couple minutes ago. The burnout is real. It's a fucking problem and it's brutal. So we have to remember to take care of ourselves. When you're loud and you're authentic and you're inspirational and feral and a wild card and just your crazy ass self all the time, it's a lot of work. It comes with a lot of energy. You got to be on all the time, all the time. And the reality is that you can't be on all the time. You can be on a lot of the time, but you have to take some downtime for yourself. Sometimes being the wild one turns into being the emotional mule. And when you're the emotional mule, you're bound to fucking snap. And we don't want to snap, because when we snap, we lose our motherfucking shit and we say what we mean and we hurt people's feelings and we go balls to the wall and it's a problem, and people then start pointing fingers and then they make you feel worse. And they're like, you're crazy, you're emotional, what's your problem? Why are you acting this way? Da 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 da. Because I'm on all the time. That's why I'm acting this way. Because I have to listen to your shit all the time, and I support you and I lift you up and I try to be there and do all this fabulous shit and make you laugh and keep you happy. And sometimes you realize that you're not around a lot of people who do those same things. So you get exhausted and you get burnt out because you're only one person. And you can't help but be this way. So you got to learn how to give back to yourself and take the time. For someone who's feral and outgoing and a wild card and a loudmouth and a troublemaker and a problem child and all the things, I've actually gotten really good at knowing that I need time by myself. Because I am so much all the time, and I'm genuinely that way. I'm not making it up. It's not something that we put on. We just are that way. I know that I have to spend time alone. I know that I have to spend time with myself. I have to process my emotions. I have to process other people's emotions. I have to stick to my guns. I have to just be with myself. Sometimes I just need to be the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? So some people haven't mastered that art yet. I have had the luxury of mastering this art because I am alone a lot. I'm alone almost 24/7. Not really, but I'm alone a lot of the day. So not complaining. It's fantastic. But you learn a lot about yourself when you are alone. So to avoid those burnouts and avoid being the emotional mule in those relationships or those friendships or in your family, whichever dynamic, it could be work, it could be wherever you spend your most time, that you're resonating with what this show is about. You need to focus on yourself sometimes and give yourself the silence. The silence is good. It's not an enemy. If you're afraid of being alone with yourself and you're afraid of the silence, you have work to do. You cannot be afraid to be alone. You can't be afraid to do things alone. You can't get uncomfortable with yourself, because that means that you're not being authentic. And when you are being the feral, outgoing version of yourself, if you're not comfortable being alone with who you are, then that's faking it. You're pretending. It's not authentic to you. You're putting it on for someone else. If it comes to you naturally and it's not exhausting, then it's genuine. But if it's always some big fucking show, and then when you're alone, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to be around somebody. I have to be entertaining. I have to be supportive. I have to be listening. I have to be crazy and mouthy and whatever. That's not good. That's not being feral. That's not being the wild card. That's not being the crazy fun one, you know? So be able to differentiate and be able to spend time with yourself so that you can process these emotions, these feelings, and just know who you are, because that's what you have to give, is the knowing of who you are. Another classic way of getting burnt out is when you notice that people are expecting things out of you and expecting your motivation, you to uplift them, you to fix their problems, you to entertain them. When people start having the expectation of your personality traits and the qualities of who you are without actually asking anything about you or asking how you're doing or genuinely giving any input or advice or question of, hey, how's Savannah doing? Hey, how's Todd? How's Bill? How's Sarah? Whatever. If people aren't asking anything and they're only asking you to give them or have the expectation of you doing all these things for them all of the time, you're going to get burnt out really quick. And chances are people like that are not people that have your love and best interest at heart. And it's probably not a friendship that will last very long. And it shouldn't, to be quite frank. It should not last that long, because that's not what you're here for, and that's not what your gifts should be used for. But you will burn out extremely quick. So if you find anybody in your life, if anyone new has come into your life, if you have had friends for years that you're like, yep, rings a bell, sounds just like so-and-so, maybe it's time to have a conversation with them, or maybe it's just time to spend less time with that person, because they're going to burn you out, and you need to keep that energy and that positivity to keep yourself going in other areas of your life so that you can be happy and feral at the same time. I'm going to reiterate this. I know I brought it up a couple minutes ago, but when you're burning out, it is so important to take space. Take space for yourself. If you find yourself going quiet or spending time or just not performing, you just need to spend time with yourself, because you can't just be go, go, go all the time. So learn how to do that. Find ways to incorporate quiet time with yourself if you have a super busy schedule or you are go, go, go all the time, because the burnout for that is real, and you will start to resent yourself and you'll start to resent people. And then eventually you'll lock yourself away and you won't ever leave your house, because you're like, oh my God, I just don't want to keep doing this for everyone else all the time. So I just want to reiterate that learning how to spend time with yourself, taking up space for silence, being quiet with you, just processing your feelings and your emotions and who you are as a person is extremely important. Even if you're not a feral person and maybe this episode doesn't resonate with you, or it resonates with someone that you know really well and you want to share it with them, then that's great. But as a human being, whatever kind of person that you are, if you're whatever person you are in your friend group or your family or in your relationship, everyone should master the art of being alone. And it's not being lonely, it's just being alone and taking time to spend quality time with yourself and with your thoughts and with who you are, so you can understand your why of what you are and who you are and why you are and what you're being and all these things. So this is just a reminder to take up space for silence. You deserve it, and it is necessary. Let's avoid the burnout, and let's take space to be silent. All right, guys, it's game time. We're going to play a game. So I'm going to list off a couple different personality types of the group chat, whether it's your family group chat, it's your friend group chat, it's a couple's group chat. It doesn't matter. You know who the fuck you are in this group chat, or you know who your friends are in this group chat. So whether you're listening to the show, if you're watching it on YouTube, if you're seeing this on social media, whatever, I'm going to prompt you to tag yourself or tag your friends in the archetype that defines them as who they are in the group chat. Okay. I'm just going to list some off for you guys really quick, and you can decide if somebody comes to mind, or if you're like, this is me, 100% guilty as charged. Let's fucking go. Get ready to tag yourself or tag your friends or tag your family. It'll be fun. The filtered one. Number one, the filtered one. The one who edits her texts, the one who edits her feelings, the one who edits her photos. The editor. Everything is filtered all the fucking time. You know who you're talking to. You know exactly who this is in the group. Tag them. Number two, the fairy dust texter. The one who texts once every 3 months. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. And then disappears. Falls off the face of the earth. You don't hear from them for weeks, for months, maybe a year. And then they just pop the fuck up. And they're like, oh my gosh, I love you. Let's hang out. Let's get together. Boom, they're gone again. The fairy dust texter. Who is she or he? Call them out. Maybe it's you. Number three, the therapist. We all have one in the group. We've all probably been this person in the group at some point or another. I know that I have. The therapist is the person who gives all the advice, but never fucking takes their own advice. That's the therapist of the group. You know who we're talking about. And I've been the therapist of the group, so fuck me. I've dated the loser, and then I've continued to date the loser, even though I know he's a scumbag. So we got to just take our own advice, ladies and gentlemen. Number four, the wild one. Sends a breakup text, sends a thirst trap, sends a selfie, sends a 15-minute voice memo, all in the same minute. They just send. Rage. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. It's the wild one. They always have something. There's like, the second that you send a text message, you see the little bubble. And the bubble's like, oh my God, she's sending more. She's sending more. There's more. There's more. She's sending more. That's the wild one. There's just always some fucking crazy shit going on in her life, and she's got to share it. Everybody needs to know. That's the wild one. Number four. Number five. And number five is my personal favorite because number five is me. It is me. I will tell you. The ghost reader. The ghost reader sees everything, sees all the text messages, responds to nothing. I'm that asshole. If you're that asshole, tag yourself. If you know that asshole in the chat, tag them now. 1000%. Again, I don't care if you guys are watching on YouTube, if you're listening to the show, if you're on social media, leave it in the comment box below because this is 100%. I am guilty as charged. I am the ghost reader. Hate my guts. Hate my guts now. And number six, my least favorite person in the group chat, the frenemy. The frenemy is the person who responds to all of your exciting news or your small wins or whatever you're sharing with, aw, or LOL, you're crazy, or super cool. They just give you fake support. And by the way, whoever you're about to tag in the comments below, remove them from your group chat first. Maybe so you don't see all the rage texts that they're going to send you because they're not your real fucking friend, but mostly just because you don't need that person in your group chat anymore. Fuck the frenemy. We're removing them. The frenemy needs to go. It's over. They're done. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that. And I'm really excited to read all of your comments or DMs or reviews, emails, whichever you choose, so that I can see all the people who were tagged, because I could have tagged myself on a couple of those too. I'll probably also post this on my story at some point so you guys can respond there, or you can just DM me if you want. But thank you for participating. I hope that you enjoyed this game as much as I know that I will once this episode airs. Pause. All in all, just remember to be yourself. Be wild, be free, be loud, be you. I'm not here for anyone else's comfort. I do give a lot of comfort indirectly, but I'm not here directly to make people feel some sort of way, and neither are you. So just continue being yourself. Anything added on top of that is a bonus. It's a benefit. It's a luxury to be able to have the skills that you have, to be feral, to be honest about who you are, to stay true to yourself, because you are fucking important and you do matter. And your way of life may be rough around the edges or rocky at times, but it's authentic to you. And you should be proud of that, because a lot of people can't be that version of themselves all of the time. Some people can't be that version of themselves at any of the time. So just remember to stay true to yourself and be who you are, because you're fucking fabulous. You really are. Being the loud one a lot of times means being the leader. It means being the truth teller. It means being the fire starter. I am all of those things in my life, and I'm proud to be those things in my life, and you should be proud of those things too. Is it messy sometimes? Yes, lighting fires is not always fun. You burn a lot of shit down. It causes problems, but at least it's out in the open. At least somebody did it. That might not be the best advice, but for me, it's gotten me further than it has held me back, because there's always lessons to be learned, and it will make you a better person. I am obsessed with truth seeking. That's probably one of my greatest qualities and one of my biggest downfalls, because so many people don't want to know the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't care about the truth. They only care about what matters to them or what reality or version of their life they're currently living in. And they don't care if it's true or not. I'm not that person. I need to know the truth. I am a truth seeker to the nth degree. I am a life path number 7. If you don't know what life path number you are, look it up or DM me if you don't know what that is, because I could probably do a whole episode on that. But yes, I'm obsessed with the truth, and it's not always pretty. Sometimes the truth is not pretty at all. I don't want to say the word ugly, but sometimes it's the ugly truth. No matter which way you slice it, the truth is important and it does matter. So being the leader, being the fire starter, being the truth seeker, the truth teller in your group is important, and every group needs one. So if that's you, I'm proud of you. If it's you and it scares the shit out of you, don't let it overwhelm you. Just keep doing you and keep being that person, because it's important and it matters. So be bold, be crazy, be loud, be wild, be all the things that you want to be and all the things that you know you can be. And when you need to be quiet and you need to spend time with yourself, be that. Be that version of yourself. It's okay to be quiet with you. It's okay to spend time alone. It's okay to be silent. You don't always have to support and entertain and give and give and give just because you're feral as fuck, okay? But one thing is for sure, don't go silent on who you really are. Stay true to yourself. Be who you are. Pay attention to yourself. You can give to yourself as much as you can give to everyone else by being that version of you. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. I know that I enjoyed filming it for you. It was a lot of fun. If you were touched by this episode, or you feel like this episode would impact someone else that you know, please share it with them or send a link in your group chat, and you guys can have a good time listening to it and going back and forth. Also, feel free to tag your friends in the group chat, tag your group chat, tag yourself, shout out your name, embarrass yourself. It's okay. I'll post this on my story, but wherever you're listening or watching this episode, please engage. I'd love to see your guys' responses. You guys know where to find me. You can follow me at Savana_Montana. You guys can follow the show at Feral with Sav. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Apple Podcast, all the things. We're on all the platforms. So thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Also, merch, you guys. I totally forgot. Merch. If there's any specific merch requests, let me know. I'm getting merch. I've got merch. Merch is in the house. Super fucking stoked about it. Would love for you guys to have some. So keep me posted if you would like any merch for the Feral podcast, because it's vibing. The vibes are vibing, and I need to get you guys some. So tag the show, tag the episodes you're listening to. DM me if you want merch. DM me your crazy shit. I can't wait to hear it. Send me any of your emails, actually. Email me with any stories, crazy confessions, any kind of journey that you guys are currently on. I love hearing from my audience. I've been getting a lot of emails and DMs lately, and I can't tell you how impactful they are for me to hear what you guys have to say and what you guys are doing and which episodes you prefer and how they impact you and what you're going through. I actually love to hear your story. So if there's anything that you want to come up on this show, or there's a specific question that you have that you want me to turn into an episode, I'd love to hear what it is. In the meantime, I will see you guys next Tuesday. Stay feral, my feral friends, and I will catch you on the flip side. Okay, love you, bye. Let me tell you who the fuck I think I am. You got a minute? Wow.